Welcome to The Dead Life. I'm Allison DuBois, your expert guide into the paranormal. Today on The Dead Life, I have Sophia DuBois in studio to answer your call-in questions. Probably questions that many people have. So enjoy your car ride or hike or just taking time for yourself while we explore the dead life. If you want to leave me a message that might be shared on a future episode of The Dead Life and my Love Me Not relationship segment, leave it at 802-DEAD 811 802-332-3811. You can follow me on Instagram at Medium Allison, on my Facebook fan page, and you can binge on my YouTube videos to watch readings, including episodes of The Dead Life. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to book a reading with me, go to AllisonDuBois.com or email us at booking@AllisonDuBois.com. Well, Sophia, welcome to my new studio.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
I'm pretty happy about it. It's nice not to, when I started The Dead Life, we were in COVID in 2020, August of 2020, and we were doing it out of the house because it was just something to do. And I was offered a podcast, so I thought, why not? And it's been nice now, 4 years later, 200 episodes
I was
later.
going to say it's 201 today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
201 episodes. To be able to move into an actual media room, I've got my own offices, multi-office building, and I love this. So we can play. We can play around. I got my medium sign. I got my fun quotes. I've got my picture of me and my husband. I've got badges from fun backstage passes I've gotten in the past, and just where I've been.
Yeah.
Because I've been around.
No, I love it. I do love it too, because since you got to actually create whatever you wanted and envisioned, it was fun. But I will say, Dad and I did put blood, sweat, and tears into this office.
I know. Thank you. But even the Dead Life
which makes
sign
it more
doesn't even
special.
it doesn't show behind you. You can't see the Dead Life in the frame. What a shame.
That's okay. I like the grass though, or whatever.
I do too.
Yeah.
We'll get it together.
Yeah.
This is just our first episode.
Yes.
Here in this office.
Yes.
So anywho, why don't we start with the first caller?
Okay.
And take it from there.
Okay.
Hi, Allison. My name's Andrea. I just think you're amazing. Such a fan. Beautiful inside and out you are. My question is, if you have a love of your life that you meet at a young age, and for whatever reasons I took a left instead of taking the right with him, but we reconnected off and on, and we both felt soulmate connection. Later on, I lost him about 18 years ago, and I was just wondering, in heaven, do we recognize each other as soulmates even if other people have come in to our lives? How does that work out? Thank you so much. Again, amazing, and I hope my gift to myself is to have a reading with you. Take care. Bye.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Thank you for calling in. Love of her life. Lost him 18 years ago. I mean, I'm glad they reconnected, but with her question about the other side, I will say soulmates, especially ones who have lost one precedes the other in death, they do find each other on the other side. Even if you draw in other relationships later, and I've had people ask me this over the years because I've read people who have had, 4 or 5 husbands before, and they're like, who's mom with? They go back to the one they have unfinished business with, and it's if she lost him 18 years ago, she still sounded pretty young. They sound like they have unfinished business, even if she draws in someone later in life for more of companionship, or even somebody that she actually feels real love for. It's always the one that we have the unfinished business with, or that we have to be with. So,
well, I think it's the fact that she's still thinking about him this many years later that I think I agree with the unfinished business. that she probably will see him,
Mhm.
when she passes, which hopefully won't be for a long, long time.
Right.
But yeah, that is a very interesting question though, because I feel like a lot of people could relate. Yeah.
Well, and you're right. I mean, she lost him 18 years ago, and she's still aching for him.
hmm
So it would make a lot of sense that her heart's still searching for him, and she'll find him on the other side when she passes. But again, it doesn't mean the other relationships in our life aren't important
hmm
or special to us. It's just, it seems that the key is the zest of the passion
hmm
in the relationship, that it's not even just the physical chemistry, it's like a soul chemistry, like on a soul
hmm
level, where you feel like you complete each other, not to be cliche, but where you feel like you found your person, where you both laugh at the same stupid things that nobody else thinks funny.
hmm
And you're like, where have you been all my life? So, which you will experience
mm
one day when you find your guy, and he'll be like, I was out there looking for you too.
Can't wait.
So for Andrea, I would say he's there waiting for you. I'm sure he looks in on her regularly, but I do hope in the meantime she finds someone to travel with, finds someone to have dinners with that makes her feel special, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you chose somebody over the person who passed. It just means for now, this person goes along for your sort of travels through the physical world. That's all.
Well, and so I guess I'll ask you a question that I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of people will want to know. So, when you pass and you're on the other side, you always say that you relive, like, and you have different heavens,
The
right?
happiest days of your
Yeah.
life.
So, do you think they're okay? So, do you just relive those, or do you watch over people, or could she see him and a different husband that she had? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work? I
So if she
guess.
remarries, could she see both on the
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
side? Normally, the other relationships will have run their course.
Okay.
So again, the passion is the zest of the
Mm,
magic of what pulls you together on the other side, that need
mm,
to be together. And you typically wouldn't have multiple husbands that you feel like you need
okay.
to
Yeah.
be with that person. They usually fill different needs in life that you have when they come later in life. And I've met people who found the love of their life later in life. I just find it different than the ones that find it when they're young.
Mm,
When you're projecting so much energy and physically uh, together and more intense
mm,
with one another. It's the intensity of the
yeah.
relationship.
Well, so you think that they'll relive memories that they had when they were younger together, or will
So
she see
so he
him?
he can relive memories he made with her as though they're happening to him for the first time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's what they do so that they don't miss us as much.
Mm,
So they have that option, which we do too, really, if you think about it. We do it through memories, closing our eyes and remembering every little essence of that, going to Greece and
hmm
dancing together, overlooking the ocean with the handsome military guy. Just created that in my head. I'm just kidding. Sorry, Sophia. He was very good looking. Anyways, um, those are the moments that wait for us on the other side that we can relive. If you're a single person and you had those moments with multiple
Mm,
people, I've seen people that are single relive those moments, but also say, I'm around a bunch of young people like me and I look good and they know it.
okay.
So there
Yeah.
seems to be this interesting mix of people over there that if you didn't achieve your heaven on earth, they can have sort of a temporary heaven of where they're at, but usually those people come back because there's a few different buckets you have to fill. Either you're here to fulfill your career path in achievement of
Mm,
something you needed to do, that you felt passionate about in work, in attaining knowledge. So that can be one reason you're here. That can be a path. Doesn't mean you have to find the love of your life, the to be the most revered person in your field, and the most excellent mother on the planet all in the same lifetime. Now, some people will, but you don't have to do that. It can just be focusing on one area
Yeah.
of your
Like,
life.
don't compare yourself to others because you have your own
Exactly.
journey. Yeah,
Thank you for saying that. That's so
of course.
important. People, especially with social media these days, compare, compare, compare. They're like, "Oh my god, it's so romantic. I want that." It's not a smorgasbord Instagram where you just grab it. Like, I'll take one of those. And I have a lot of clients who want to find love and I'm like, "Do you go out?
Hmm.
Like, do you seek it?" "No, I stay at home on the weekend." I'm like, "So you think the perfect guy is just going to be walking through your neighborhood knocking the door?" That's not going to
No.
happen.
Well, and then with reality shows and
Yeah,
Instagram and TikTok, and it is hard to not compare your life, especially when you see people younger than yourself
right.
achieving certain things,
Mhm.
like those travel influencers. And you're like, oh my gosh, how are they going all over the world? They're younger than me.
Right.
But it's like, well, that wasn't, first of all, it's Instagram. Take
Right.
it with a grain of salt, you know?
And can I just say, when there's a camera in your face, and I know this from living the life I've lived with a camera in my face, you don't enjoy what you're doing
No.
nearly as much as if it's not there. So those people will have those moments that they created for this fictional world, which is, online technology. But the people that go there without the camera in their faces are actually the ones that are
Really
squeezing
living
more
it.
of
Yeah.
living it
Hmm.
and really squeezing the enjoyment out of it and creating versions of their heaven. Those influencers with the cameras, that's not going to be a version of their heaven.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they will find at the end. I'll let you know as soon as I bring through an influencer. They're still young, so time will tell, but I have yet to see anybody come through filming themselves.
Right. Taking selfies.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
exactly. A heaven selfie.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be number 1
You're like, hey,
online.
God, get
Yeah.
in here.
I know.
It's like, I got to show my followers.
Moses, you
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Come over here. Mary, everybody, all at once. Great lighting.
yeah.
Great
Right.
lighting off the
Great.
clouds. I'm really loving the look.
Right.
That's so funny.
Oh my
All
God.
right. Well, thank you, Andrea. I hope that answered your question. Let's go to the next caller.
Hi, Allison. This is Leslie from London calling. I wonder if you could speak a little bit about the role of guardian angels versus or in comparison to messages from loved ones who have passed on. I sometimes have personally difficulty um, deciphering what message I'm getting or from whom, and if that's important or not. Sometimes I get signs like a heads up penny or something like that. And recently I've just thought, I wonder if it's not just a person, but my own personal guardian angel, and how one can cultivate the relationship with one's own guardian angel. And then as a follow-up, I kind of feel like, they get whatever assignment they get, but what happens when they get assigned to somebody who's really no good?
Mhm.
Anyway, just something that occurred to me. Love the show and love all the advice. It's really helped me navigate one side of my life. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you, Leslie from London. How cool are we?
I know.
We're international.
You're right.
Love it. So, it's a very good
Mhm.
question. And so I wanted to answer this because I know a lot of people have questions about guardian angels. And I will say there's a distinction here to be made. Guardian angels don't feel familiar when you first experience them. Loved ones who have passed will feel familiar. So they're easier to recognize um, in their energy. If you have any sensitivity at all, you'll pick up on their male or their female, the energy of their personality. Sometimes they play music, so music was important to them. And they interact with you in that way, letting you know that they didn't leave you. That heads up penny is not going to be a guardian angel in my experience. That's going to be a living loved one who had passed, who is using that as a sign to, grab her attention. Usually, pennies and coins will come from males who pass, who were a little thrifty. in life. And it's the ones that were the dads that said, turn off the air conditioner. We don't need that. Turn off the heater, wear a sweater. Here's a pile of blankets,
Yeah.
keep warm.
Hmm.
Money doesn't grow on trees. Those guys will leave the coins. So as far as a heads up penny, in my experience, guardian angels do not give that sign. Also, guardian angels tend to be there in moments of crisis, and loved ones tend to be there at all times.
Mm.
So for me, there's a clear distinction. When you are feeling fearful, a guardian angel, as she calls it, there's angels, and then there's sort of guardian angels that people feel guide them. Now, I've seen angels before, as strange as that sounds, and they are not cartoon characters floating on clouds. They are foreboding. There's a presence to them. They are warriors. They protect us. That's what they act as for us. When you talk about guardian angels or somebody who's a guide,
Hmm.
I'm wondering if she means more of like a guide when she talks about a guardian angel who uh, sort of leads us down the path that's better for us
Yeah.
and tries to keep us safe. It can be another energy on the other side that just vibes with us that was never related to us. So,
Well, so this is a good question because when I think of a guardian angel, I think of the situations where you're in a car accident where you shouldn't have made it out alive and you did. You know what I
right.
mean? I wouldn't think of that as someone like a loved one that's passed. I would be
Right.
like, that was my guardian angel because I shouldn't be here right now and they don't even have a scratch on them. Like it
Mhm.
doesn't make sense. But then the the loved ones are the ones where you think of them and their face and they pop in your head and you're
Right.
like, "Oh, it's grandpa," like
Right.
it's certain things. But then there's a third one, which is the universe that is sending you certain things. I
Mhm.
guess it could be a guardian angel. You know that this past week to 2 weeks for me has been nuts of just random coincidences and
Yes.
things, the people popping up and it doesn't make sense. So there's like that third category.
The universe trying to teach you
Yeah, a
something.
lesson.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
the universe does teach lessons, and what you speak of, say a car accident, your dad had spoke of one when he was young,
Mhm.
when he was first driving, I believe, and he was in an accident and broke his collarbone. And the damage to him should have been far, far
Mhm.
worse than it actually was. And sometimes people will even describe feeling pulled back into the car, or I reached over the seat to grab my dog, and at that exact second, um, I would have been decapitated if I hadn't reached back.
Mhm.
There's very specific instances of it came from God or it came from a higher power where it wasn't your time, where you were saved, but loved ones can also act as that.
Mm, mhm.
So if it's not your time and the universe and the other side is saying, say to my dad, your grandfather, okay, she's not supposed to die. This accident is going to happen. It has to happen because it's part of her story. But we're going to allow you to intervene to make it less painful for her. And so then my dad can act as that buffer. Now, if you don't have family, I would imagine guardian angels would be more predominant in your in your space, that they're around you to save you because you don't have the family
That makes
that
sense.
you have the
Yeah.
connection to. So I think it depends on your energy relationship with your own family. You lose somebody that you love, even though you didn't know Grandpa Mike, he loves you and he's watched you grow up your whole life. So if you have an experience like that, some people will say, "Well, I didn't know him. I didn't love him. I was young when he died." That doesn't mean there's not a relationship there.
Mhm.
To him, there's a relationship. And when you cross, there will be that relationship where you know him, but he will still try and protect. So, I don't see, unless I'm there and I'd have to be there for each instance of these occurrences, but I've watched the life after death and people that are brought back, the near death experiences, and they always talk about a family member being there unless they didn't have a close family member. And then they speak of somebody they'd never seen before that was taller than them and more godlike,
Yeah.
or, you know, um, a power source on the other side that's there greeting them, possibly a guide or a guardian angel, but they feel safe with these
Hmm.
beings on the other
They always
side.
say that. They're
Yes.
like, they were so warm and I
Yes.
felt,
And
yeah.
they don't want to come back and they're angry when they're sent back. They're like, I don't want to come back. I want to stay there. And sometimes somebody's dad will, love them and they'll be like, no, I want to be with you, dad. And they'll try and walk towards them. And the more they walk towards them, the more they get pulled backwards because it's not their time and they're told they have to go back. So I think we have multiple entities working um, in our favor often. But then I want to show the other side of that because I can hear some people out there who have lost somebody wonderful unfairly. Where were their guardian angels? Where were their loved ones? Unfortunately, there are some people, and I don't really want to consider them sacrificial lambs, but they're instrumental in making the rest of humanity better or saving other people's lives. And as parents, although we'd say, why my kid? Why not somebody else's? And we know it's selfish, but we can't help but to feel it because we love our kids. Um, the universe has the final say in
Yeah.
what happens always. And when somebody is taken unfairly like that, like children, innocent children that shouldn't die, I'm shown them being removed from their bodies before they were actually killed, almost like a presence. They're pulling them out, knowing knowing what was happening. Excuse me.
No, you're good. I agree. I think that there's just a lot of different contexts that you could do it all day with
Yeah.
people giving you examples, but
Yeah,
it just depends.
it does.
Yeah.
So for Leslie in London, I would say that's a very large category of beings on the other side and breaking it down. But I hope that that helped to answer some of her questions.
I agree.
So let's go on to the next.
Hi, Alison. My name's Macaulay. My twin flame passed 37 years ago, and I was getting a lot of signs from him. But now, since he apparently has evolved, I'm not really getting many signs from him. I do get songs in the morning from him, which is obviously clairaudience, but I'm not getting regular physical signs any longer. And I'm just wondering if the longer they've been in spirit, the less signs that you get. Thank you so much.
Was the name Macaulay? Did you catch
I didn't
that?
catch it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
I hope I'm not wrong. Either Australia?
It was Australia.
Okay. I hope that's right. So, wonderful person that called in with a fabulous accent. This is for you. This goes out to you. So,
What is this, like an 80s roller skating?
I can dream.
Dance. I love it.
I used to do that. Okay. So anyways, the signs that she's talking about that one can get from the other side, sometimes you'll get a lot of them early on after somebody passes because they're trying to let you know that they're okay
Mhm.
and that they're still with you. After an amount of time passes, if they feel they're holding you back, they pull their energy back because they need you to live. You have a path, like they had a path that you need to go down. So they'll pull their energy back in order to make sure that you re-engage with the living. It doesn't mean that they left you. It means they're releasing you from the burden of their loss. And they're saying, live for us, live for me, live for you. I need you to take the reins here and not expect me to.
Yeah.
So they'll step back. So the longer somebody's passed, she asked, is it less likely that they would communicate? It is for that reason. Now, it doesn't mean that they 100% cut you off, but you're just going to get a lot fewer signs with less intensity because the intensity they have is usually in the beginning of their passing in the first year or two so that you can move on through your grief knowing they're still there with you. And that's why they send the signs is reassurance for us and a reinforcement that their love is still with us and that they're still with us and that they're part of our lives. So, yeah, if 25 years passes, a lot's happened,
37.
right?
Yeah.
A lot's happened in
Yeah.
that 25 years. And you're not going to feel them as much. It's going to be much fainter. You've lost other people. You've
Yeah.
possibly fallen in love with other people. Your world looks different than it did at the time that they pass. So, yes, a lot of them will then move on once they know that you're okay. It's not that we keep them here. I don't want people to feel guilty, like somehow we're burdening them by needing them. They love to be needed. They love to be part of our lives. But when they see that we're not really uh, engulfed in the grief anymore, and that we can take part in life and enjoy ourselves and recommit to other people or build friendships and travel, and we're okay. Once they
Well,
see that,
she also
they step
mentioned
back.
it was, I think, her twin. Okay. Which I'm sure her twin after 37 years.
I'd have to listen to it again, to be honest
Oh,
with
I
you,
think
so I hope we're not totally
no. I
getting
think
this
it.
wrong.
Oh,
Twin
twin flame.
Twin
Oh, I
flame,
was like,
yeah.
if it's a twin, they're
No,
like,
twin
live your
flame.
own life, you know?
Okay,
Okay,
so
twin
this is a
flame.
love. This is like her love of her
Okay.
life, or the person that
Yeah, then
completes
they
her
just don't want to
somehow.
hold her back. But the thing is, you also need to know that when they pop in your head randomly, that's a sign in its own saying, hey, I'm still here. I still
Right.
love you. But
Mhm.
like, live
Right.
your life, you know?
Well, and for people who find that match, their match, I always feel so happy for them. And even when I bring them through for their living loved one, I always say, I'm so happy that you had that in your
Mm.
life. Because there are some people that go through an entire life and they never had one person feel that way for them. And so I think it's why the young relationships carry so much energy, because we're more fearless
Mm-hmm.
at that age. You know, we'll fight for something. We'll go after you. We love you. It's intense. It's passionate. We're free. You know, our bodies are still young and everything's perfect, and the music, and we're not clouded by the world yet and the burdens that come along with time on the planet.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's why it always seems more romantic back then, and a little dreamier and simpler times, because
Mm-hmm.
it can just be the most important thing in the world to you at that time. So for her with the twin flame, you know, that's somebody who, even though she'll hear like a faint whisper of that energy still around her, they do fade. So I hope that answers her question about, you know, this person, the significant person in her life, and knowing that they don't leave because they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It's more of a helping us move forward, forcing us to move forward, if you will.
Yeah.
So I like the questions. I like the call-ins. Call in, people. These are good ones, and I like the international ones. I'm digging the accents. We're gonna have to start a game
I know.
on accents and regions. I like it. Well, Sophia, thank you for being here
Yeah, of
with
course.
me. Next time we'll get the dead life in your
Yeah.
shot for
We'll
sure.
bring it down.
Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
a little
It'll be good.
more dead in the life there. I like it. So very cool. So I'll have you back when we get some more relationship questions in, but I thought we had a couple of good romance questions
they were
today.
good.
So I wanted to do Love Me Not today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I helped everyone listening ask, you know, because you know all these answers, but I'm speaking on behalf of everybody else.
And they appreciate it. You also speak on behalf of the younger generation, as I am now the oak.
Oh my
The
God.
older generations. I speak for you.
Oh my God.
So thank you so much for being here. Coming up this month, I have Sue Frederick, master numerologist, in studio to talk to us all about the rest of this 8-year and what to expect in 2025, a 9-year and a year of endings. Thank you to my listeners for tuning in. You can catch me next Tuesday for a fresh episode of The Dead Life. I'm Allison DuBois. This is The Dead Life, and to all of my believers out there, don't stop believing.
Join us next week on The Dead Life, and don't forget to subscribe now to get notified of every new episode.